Arthur Okonkwo. Arthur Okonkwo promoted back to back with Wrexham. Wrexham have now earned their spot in the EFL Championship for next season. Okonkwo, I believe, has 18 clean sheets this season. Has been very good in goal for Wrexham. Very impressive. He's one of those players that personally I think he's more of a championship level goalkeeper, not a League One goalkeeper. So I'm not surprised that he has done very well with them. But going up another level, he has come into the forefront of Nigerian fans now. People have been talking about him. People are now starting to say, Super Eagles. Oh, Super Eagles. But Smith Layi, before we talk about his Super Eagles potential, how do you see his promotion to the championship with Wrexham?
That's what you said. It's good to have a good team, working around you. You see a clear goal. When it was in LASK in the Austrian League, I think it was close to playing the Europa. Yeah. So why would you leave? Why would you leave Austria? Go to League One. I mean, it was in League Two then. What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? Go to League Two. What is wrong with you? Stay in Austria, perform well, do well. But because of the vision, this Wrexham Monarchs they had there, he actually he won promotion to League One. It was I think it was named League Two goalkeeper of the season. So, and they also won promotion again to what? To the championship, 2 back-to-back promotions. So they might stay for a while in the championship before going to the Premier League. But this is impressive. I will not be surprised if they make it there.
Because Wrexham is a team that they have good ownership, they are investing, they have the money to buy some quality players. And who knows, maybe they can convince some of the Leicester boys, some of the Southampton boys. So if they can convince some of these good players, because the truth is that the Wrexham squad, because of the clout that they have, they were able to get players that might not necessarily have been somebody like J. Rodriguez, for example. J. Rodriguez is on the older side now, but this is a guy that played years in the Premier League, played years in the Championship, and they went to go and play with them in League One. It's because they have the pool and the money to be able to still attract somebody like that to join their project. They have some other players that, frankly, James McLean, has a lot of experience at a high level, so they were able to attract players that are better than League One. So maybe they might be able to attract some of the top championship guys. Who knows? Maybe they can even call Onuachu to come and play up front. Who knows? I mean, if they get promoted next season, it's going to be a massive, massive achievement. How do you assess that situation? Should he really be considered for the Super Eagles, or is it too early?
It's not too early. It might even be the Super Eagle as far as in next month. I don't think it's too early. And that is not areas that we are spoiled for choices. We have our first choice in South Africa. With due respect to him, he was so good on last of But in this competition, one of the things that I didn't like about Okonkwo was his handling of the ball. He doesn't have strong hands. But what I saw last season, it's like the guy went to go and do some gym work. He was 18 clean hits. He has strong on the ball and everything. So I was really impressed. Super Eagles is a different kettle of fish. I'm like to you. If he's coming, you should start with the friendly game. It does not require clearance to play for Nigeria. It does not require change of nationality to play for Nigeria. It just needs to get his Nigerian passport and actually play. He has not played for England in any competitive game, any competitive at under age. Only play at under 16 or so for England. So he's ready to actually to play for Nigeria. If the coach sings and talk to him and think that it's fit, okay, why can't you bring him? I have like 4 goalkeepers, that can compete with Stanley Wabali. And you know that okay, Wabali cannot just sit down on the pitch and be changing gum saying that nobody's going to compete with me. When you have Maduka Okoye, in the next year, I think he kept a clean sheet too on Monday. Also see Okonkwo, take clean sheet. You see Noah Tobolu. These are guys that can compete. So for me, I think it's not bad for him to also start with this. Who knows?
You know, I think when I think of this, I feel like it's a bit of I'm kind of on the fence about his inclusion potential in the Super Eagles. So now I think that Nigerian fans always tend to be victims of new shiny toy syndrome. We hear about a player
Mhm.
that we were not really looking at before. All of a sudden, the player is doing well. Boom! Oh, call him Super Eagles. Call him Super Eagles. So I feel like people are getting too excited about what he might be, because realistically, we remember when Omar Bali was linked with, was it Cardiff and some of these other things. We were talking about like how would our and this was back then now after the AFCON. But we're talking about like how would our first choice goalkeeper, how would our keeper be in League One, things like that. It was not really a level that people wanted to see him play. Now, this is a League One, now championship goalkeeper that people are getting excited about because he has had a very good season. He's a good goalkeeper. He's a young boy. He's 23 years old. So you still expect him to improve and become much better. But I think that people are also getting a bit too excited. I think that, yes, shows that he's very good at League One level, but we need to see that he can do it at an even higher level than that, because playing for the Super Eagles is no small thing. The pressure, the expectations, etc. So for me, I think people are getting a bit excited early, but like you also mentioned, we are not sports for choice at that level. The reason why I say it is we've ignored in the past. We've ignored goalkeepers that play in Switzerland. We've ignored goalkeepers that play in Sweden. We haven't really looked their way. Now, maybe because he is much younger and we're seeing him, if it's for the Unity Cup where every Tom, Dick, and Harry that is close enough can attend, of course, let him get a chance. He probably, if I don't know if Maduka will be there, I don't know if Mwabali will be there, but let him get a chance, at the Unity Cup. For me, I guess I'm just not that excited. I've been following him for the past 4 years. I agree that he has really, really improved this season, but I'm not as excited as many people. I do believe that, with all due respect, he's better than the options that we have from the MPF.
It's better than the one from Tanzania.
Yes, I was counting him as MPF.
So I don't say that you come as a first choice. You should also come to the team. And it's not everybody that will first choice, just to come to the team. And because now you're calling a bench warmer in the MPFL to come and be Super Eagles. So I'm going to say he's a very good friend. But he's a bench warmer in the MPFL. You call the bench warmer in the MPFL to come and be Super Eagles. So why won't you call this one? With due respect to the guy you're talking about, he's not a good goalkeeper. He's not a good goalkeeper. All the hype, let's just leave the hype one play. I'm monitoring him very well. He's not a good goalkeeper. The guy will reign. He will reign that the cat and dog. Okay? Yes.
Let's see. I mean, I think, for me, I guess I'm just the kind of person that I always feel like Super Eagles should be reserved for the best of the best. But again, like I said, I also agree that we don't really have many goalkeeper options that are quality. So if he's one of the goalkeeper options, if he's coming to be third choice behind Nwabali and Maduka, I can't hate on that. I can't hate on that. If he's coming to be third choice, come and learn, come and understudy, and maybe if he does very well in the championship, does gets promoted to Premier League, who knows, But it'll be good for us to be able to have multiple goalkeepers that can really compete at that level. That's something that I'm really looking forward to. Because right now we know that with Maduka out of the squad of late, Bali has just been coasting. Those two other boys, they follow him, they look up to him, they're not really competing with him at all. But shout out to him, shout out to him. He's a good player. Somebody said I'm hard to impress. Maybe I'm just hard to impress, but I'm like, let's see how it goes. Somebody mentioned Joshua Oluwayemi as a potential goalkeeper option. I've been following and watching him very closely. If you subscribe to our Patreon, where I post breakdowns and reviews and highlights of Nigerian players on Patreon, I've been highlighting Joshua Oluwayemi's games a lot. Oluwayemi is not a very, very good goalkeeper, I must say. His distribution is not great. He's prone to an error, He's like a Sanchez. Maybe not every game type of error, but bear in mind, Sanchez is playing in England. He is playing in Australia, where the game is a lot slower, a lot less pressure. and he still makes mistakes here and there. Does he make some good saves? Yes, he does. He had 8 saves this past weekend. Maybe 3 of them were easy saves, but the remaining 5 were quality saves, regardless of who he's playing against. I just don't see him as somebody that can really come and compete with the people that we currently have. Whereas I believe that Arthur Okonkwo, with a bit more games under his belt, he can potentially compete and he will be a reliable third choice. For us to have 3 reliable choices will be something that's very interesting now because we've not really had that for a long time. So I wouldn't call Joshua Oluwayemi. As much as I'm saying Okonkwo is not exciting me, Oluwayemi is exciting me even less. That's the honest truth. Okay, but yeah, shout out to Arthur Okonkwo on his promotion with AFC Wrexham. Fantastic story. Very, very good club. Very good management.